Hey, it's unfa. You're watching another monthly live stream. And I hear myself in my headphones with a nice long delay. Let's find where that comes from. Oh no. This can't be monitor. It's not this monitor. This is real-time monitor. Oh, I know. Oh yeah, found it. All right. Welcome. How are you doing? Let's see how many people are watching right now. Okay, there's 57 people online. Welcome. Glad you made it. It's another month, another first Sunday of the month, and it's time to do a 2-hour live stream. And if you don't know me, I am unfa. I'm an electronic music producer and sound designer. And the twist about me is that I only use open source software and Linux, which is kind of unusual in the... well, it's unusual for artists to go this route, but I'm really happy I can be one of those who do. I've had a few ideas for today's oh my, am I cropped? What the hell? How am I cropped? I'm kind of cropped. I had a few ideas. Yes, industry is the name. I have a few ideas about what to do today, but first I want to talk about things that are happening or have been happening. So first thing is there is something called Liber Music Challenge that was started in the community of my viewers. And it was started a year ago with the first Liber Music Challenge, and we've skipped 1 month because there was no one to maintain that, but another maintainer has shown up and has taken care of leading this little thing. And what it is it's a monthly event on my community chat, which is either on chat.unfa.xyz, this thing right there. Am I pointing in the right direction? Let's see. Either in this thing right there, no, that would be the wrong direction. This thing right there, or there is a Discord. And if you go here, you will also find the Discord. If you go to newcomer info, you will then read all about this stuff. And there's also a link to the Discord server. and they are all going, like, they're bridged together. So you can either create an account on Chat unfa XYZ and use Rocket Chat, which is a free and open source solution, or you can, if you have an account on Discord, use that. So if you don't have an account on Discord, I recommend you don't make one. Instead, use Rocket Chat. Also, because Discord, in their terms of service, says that if you made an account, you are not allowed. You agree not to sue them in a class action lawsuit. So don't make an account if you don't have one, so you can potentially sue Discord. For good measure. Okay, so and here is a channel. If you go and search for, what is that? Okay, you will find Liber Music Challenge, and this is the place where all the things are happening, where people are learning the new monthly topic when they are exchanging information, and also linking threads on Linux Musicians Forum and archive.org, where all these submissions are uploaded after each month's submission and voting is done. So last month's Liber Music Challenge was called Air Music, and it was about using AirWindows plugins. If you don't know this guy, this is Chris. And Chris is making plugins. And for some time, he's been open sourcing his plugins as well. And he's using crowdfunding, and he's publishing these little plugins that do specific things and often do very unusual things, and some of them are really cool and unique and useful. So that's Chris from AirWindows, and the challenge was to make music, but only use his plugins. And I think that's showing like what the Liber Music Challenge is about. It's about taking a theme and learning new tools in the open source audio production space to create something in the theme. And sometimes the theme is just to use a certain plugin that is new and interesting and not many people know about it. So the Liber Music Challenge provides an incentive for people to check it out, see what they can do with it, and expand their palette of sounds and tools. And I think that's really nice. You can also find all the submissions, and one of the submissions is going to be played later today because it was submitted to the live stream, and that's the winner track, the track that won this challenge, that was basically voted by all the people taking part as the best one. And you can see that this challenge has quite a lot of things going on, because there's like six pages of posts in this thread, and this is just for 1 month's edition. This is not for all of them. And the maintainers create these threads for every edition and also upload them. So the next edition is called Happy Birthday Edition, because it's the first anniversary of Liber Music Challenge. And as I said already, they've skipped 1 month. But yeah, so this will be celebrating the 1 year of Liber Music Challenge, which I think is pretty cool. It's a little spin-off thing that the community is doing. Like, it wasn't my idea. I'm not taking care of it. The community around my videos is just doing this. It's on its own. It's Rob Vandenberg and Sahativa. These guys are maintaining this Liber Music Challenge, and I think this is awesome. Yeah, so that's a little news. And another thing is topic for today. And I was thinking about multiple things. One thing was to dive in and figure out what is LUFS and explain what that does, show how to use it, what tools we have to measure that, and talk about loudness in general. Maybe see what tools we can use to achieve higher loudness in our music, and then explain why it's totally pointless after a certain point. But I thought maybe that's not the best idea for a live stream. Maybe that would be better served by a video on its own. But I thought on the live stream we could do DrumGizmo, which is something I haven't made a video about, and I was meaning to for a few years now. And I always forgot about it and didn't have the flow to do it. And I thought maybe we can do it today, because many people don't know how to use DrumGizmo, or even what DrumGizmo is. And even if they know what DrumGizmo is, they don't know how to use it. So maybe let's fix this today. What do you say? By the way, can you hear me all right? Is everything good? Am I talking to empty void? Yeah, I think you can hear me. It seems okay. I'm just gonna quickly blow my nose because that's an obligatory part of the stream. All right. Alrighty, so let's do some DrumGizmo thingy. So if you don't know what DrumGizmo is a multi-layer, multi-source or multi-track and multi-layer drum sampler. Of course, it's open source and free as in freedom. And it's probably the best tool if you're going for just natural drum sounding acoustic drums. And the official program is available on the website or in various Linux distribution repositories, because it's a popular program, so you can easily find it if you're running Ubuntu or Debian or Linux Mint or Manjaro or whatever else. You most likely will find a DrumGizmo package in your Linux repositories. If you're running something else, you can just go to drumgizmo.org and download the program yourself. And what it does is it loads specifically created drum kits, which have a lot of audio data, and lets you play drums that sound amazing. But it requires some work, and I want to show you what is this work, how to do that in Ardor, which is an open source digital audio workstation that I use most of the time. And we're gonna have some drumline by the end of this, or maybe make some drums and then play around and make some other instruments on top of that to finish it off. And X asks, when Fabla 2? It looks interesting. Fabla is a drum sampler, though it's not, it's a single layer. And as far as I know, it's not being developed anymore. The developer what's his name? Dang, I can't remember the name of the guy. But the project was called, or is called, Harry. Yeah, Harry Van Haren, that's the name of the guy. And it seems he got a job at Intel and he's really busy and he doesn't have time to do, or isn't interested in doing this anymore. So Fabla 2 isn't coming out. And Fabla 1 is a pretty interesting, very simple drum sampler, though it's not super reliable, unfortunately. That's why I'm not really using it. I think I would use DrumGizmo if I wanted a reliable, simple drum sampler that has multiple channels that you can use with multiple sounds, because I'm familiar with DrumGizmo and it can load samples as well. Anyway, that's not what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about DrumGizmo. So you can download the program, and you can also, it's a plugin as well, and you can also download the official drum kits. And there are a few official drum kits which are all created in a way that the drum kits are mic'd with 16 microphones in a room. It's prepared like a regular recording session when you would record live drums. But instead of performing songs, they do perform single shots on all the drums and cymbals in various velocities, and they record all of that. And the result is that you have a drum kit that is sounding like a real drum kit. Like, it's just amazing. And these drum kits are licensed under, I believe, CC BY. Yeah, Creative Commons Attribution. So you can use them. I think all of the drum kits are licensed, but refer to these drum kits pages. So you can do pretty much everything with this. You even use it in commercial projects. All you have to do is in a description of your release, list that you've used this drum kit and maybe post the URL. So I think this is an absolutely crazy contribution to the free and open source audio production community, because these drum kits sound freaking crazy, and there's quite a lot of them as well. And I don't even want to get into how crazy work intensive it is to actually sample a drum kit and sample it well. And these guys are doing an absolutely amazing job at it. And I think this is, some people say this sounds even better than many commercial drum samplers. And one of the reasons is that you get an absolutely raw signal. The philosophy of DrumGizmo is that it's like replacing a live drum kit. You just feed it MIDI, and the audio you get multi-channel audio. So you get 16 channels of audio. And the idea is it just replaces an acoustic drum kit with a microphone setup and an audio interface and a drummer. So instead of a drummer, acoustic drum kit, microphone setup, and an audio interface, you have this plugin. And you send MIDI to it, and it produces results that would pretty much almost identical as if you had this drum kit laid out and have a drummer that played your part, only in real time. And all you need is a little bit of RAM and a little bit of CPU cycles left to spare. And some space in your description of your project so you can add the attribution. Okay, so you can go to drumgizmo.org and download it, and feel free to play along if you are so inclined. But I am going to move on to Ardor because I already have DrumGizmo installed, and I do have the drum kits installed. So this is Ardor. It's an empty session. What I'm going to do is create a new MIDI track. And I have already selected DrumGizmo as the instrument plugin on that MIDI track. And I'm going to click Add and Close. Now here is a little dialog window. And what it asks us is how to configure outputs. Because the plugin provides us with 16 outputs, not a stereo output. So in something like AVL drum kits, you have a version of the plugin which supplies you with just 2 outputs, just a stereo output. So all the drums are mixed with you for you. You don't have any way to change the mix. And here, it's like a virtual audio interface, laid out to your drum kit. So you have 16 inputs of raw audio that would be outputted from the drum kit. So what you need to do is, I think the best idea is to use this fan out. And this way you have 16 mono channels, mono buses. Okay, let's see. The first thing is, okay, we have MIDI input because I have my MIDI interface configured in order to do that. If I open the user interface of the plugin, here's what we have. This is DrumGizmo's user interface. And what we have to do is first we need to load a drum kit. So I'm going to go browse, and I've already went to a directory in my on my disk where I store drum kits for DrumGizmo. The sound font name is not really a good name. I should call this sound libraries, but that's what I called it. So let's go and select Crotchel kit and scroll down, and we need to select an XML file which contains a configuration of the drum kit. And you can see there's a multiple choices here. We have default, we have full, we have small, tiny. So one of the 4. I'm not sure what they do and how they differ, so I'm going to go for full. Select, and now you can see there's this little progress bar because DrumGizmo is preloading samples so it can play them back in real time with no latency involved. Well, there is 144 samples of latency, but that's just, you can just omit that. Another thing about this is that we can change the cache limit. Because I have a lot of RAM, I can move this to unlimited and apply. It's going to reload the drum kit. And this will make sure that all of the samples, which has like 5 gigabytes of them, are going to be loaded into my memory, into my system memory, so they're going to be played immediately, and it's not, you know, my hard drive isn't going to have to work because we're just loading it all in advance. I can do that. I have a lot of memory. Why would you not want to do this is if you don't have as much memory to spare. And if you have a limit set for this cache size, then DrumGizmo will only load like beginnings of the samples, I believe. And then when you play a sample, it's going to play this beginning of the sample from memory and then go fetch the rest from the disk really fast. So yeah, it's more reliable, especially with the large drum kit, if you just let it chew up more memory. Adeniran Baltazar asks, what does fan out do? Fan out in Ardor is a function that appears when you add an instrument plugin that has more than standard stereo output. And if I didn't do fan out, let's just do this. I'm going to add another MIDI track with DrumGizmo, and it's going to ask me to do the fan out again, but I'm just going to disable fan out and edit. And the result is I just have this single MIDI track and I have all the outputs, and it's up to me to, if I right click, we're going to open the connection matrix or the routing grid. It's up to me to like select what I'm sending where, and by default it just all goes to master, left, right, left, right, left, right, etc. So fan out lets us creates a audio bus for every single output. So we have 16 audio outputs from the plugin, and it has created 16 buses for us, which is going to make it easier for us to mix the drums. Let's remove this secondary DrumGizmo track because we don't really need it. Okay, now we've loaded our drum kit. There's also something we need to load, or we can load it. We don't need to, but it's nice. And it's a MIDI map file. So we can go again and select the MIDI map and choose the version of the drum kit that we chose before. So this is the drum kit, and we load now the MIDI map. And I believe that what this does is it provides us with a nice description. Does it? Okay, by the way, I need to connect the audio output so Ardor's audio output is being sent to stream. And it works. Let me know if the Ardor audio is too quiet, because I think it might be. No, maybe I'll just make it louder myself. All right, not sure what this MIDI map actually does, because I thought it's going to give us names for the MIDI notes, but I don't think this is... Maybe it's not working? I don't know. Ardor is very quiet. Okay, I'm gonna make it louder then. 6 decibels. All right, another thing we need to do is bring up a README file of the drum kit we're working with. So here is my README file, or the directory where I have the drum kits opened. So let's go here, and we also have pictures of when the drum kit was captured, which is pretty cool. And here is README. I already opened it, so here it is. And the important thing is what the channels do. Because, you know, it's just numbers from 1 to 15. Because, oh, it looks like we're not using the 16th channel. And it's pretty arbitrary. What do you plug into that? So, you know, some people will plug in kick here on the channel 1, snare on channel 2, snare bottom or top 3, and they start with ambient left, ambient right, overhead left, overhead right, overhead center, etc. So pretty much we need to take this as a reference to rename our buses here. And unfortunately, I don't think there is an easy way to do this. Like just have it create the buses with proper names. So I'm going to call this AMBL, AMBR. By the way, if you hit tab when renaming tracks, you can just switch between them in Ardor and you can rename overhead left, overhead right, overhead center, hi-hat, ride, SN top, SN bot, tom 1, tom 2, F tom 1, F tom 2. Oh. K inside, K out. All right, and we have named our tracks. Now we can actually figure out what the hell are we doing. And this is where you can pretty much let go of the README. And what I'm going to do, oh, by the way, fan out also creates a group for our buses. And I'm going to disable this group because I want to solo things. So ambient left and ambient right. Actually, we could remove this group and create our own groups because I'm going to want to group things that are left and right together. So ambient left and right. Well, no, not that. I'm going to group this and call this ambient or AMB. Actually, drums AMB. And I'm going to solo these too. Now let's pan this one hard left and pan this one hard right. What you can hear right now is me giving MIDI input to DrumGizmo, and we are hearing the ambient channels for all the drums. Okay, let's do the same for overheads. Drum, oh hey, oh drums. So overhead left, overhead right, and center will stay in center. And we have a drum controller. All right, hi-hat. Snare top and snare bottom, we could also group them. Drums SN. And, oh. Our kick here is, this is our kick, okay. Drums kick. Let's solo the kick. So, yeah, this is the kick, and you can also see that when I play a snare, you can hear that snare through the kick microphone, because we're emulating the actual physical drum kit and not just playing samples on arbitrary MIDI keys. All right, so why am I doing this? It's because DrumGizmo provides us with raw audio inputs or outputs. And to have a decent sound out of DrumGizmo, you need to put in the work to actually mix the drums as if you were mixing an acoustic real drum kit. And this is the cost of using that, is that you need to actually learn how to mix drums, because this is not playing you pre-mixed drums in a stereo bus like many commercial samplers do. This is providing you with raw audio that you can do anything with, because we can mix this single drum kit in a 1,000 different ways and achieve completely different results. We can make this into a lo-fi, hip hop type beat if we want, or dang, something not right about this camera. Top of my head is clipped. Or we can make this sound like an electronic drum and bass kit if we want to. Anything we want, because the raw material is raw and it's super high quality. So we can sculpt whatever we want. So maybe you have some ideas. What do you want to sculpt out of this? By the way, this chilled coffee really is nice. Before we mix, we could create some pattern, because it's pretty nice to have something to start with. So I think I will give us a bit more loudness. Zard says, with realistic plugin output, of course you can distort the shit out of it. Ah, yes. That's a fair point. And we have some nice plugins to test, like some AirWindows plugins or Chow tape. We can distort it really well. Oh, yeah, now I know what I want to do. Another thing I want to do. I want to create a submix for this drum kit. So I'm gonna go Ctrl-Shift-N to create a new track or bus, create an audio bus, and make it stereo, call it drums with capital letters, because that's how I distinguish submixes. I'm going to input it before selection, and here we have our submix. Now we need to reroute all of this here instead of to master, because right now these tracks, these buses send audio directly to master, and I don't want that. I want this to go to drums submix. So what I do, which is I think the easiest way, is to go to the bus where they are sent to, right-click on the inputs to open the routing grid, go to buses, tracks? Why are they considered tracks? These are buses, aren't they? And now you can just click and drag to remove. And you can also use the mouse wheel to scroll. I need to do this again. And hey, and this is a very quick way to change routings. By the way, this little fella ain't gonna be used ever, so I'm gonna just delete it. Are these are actually tracks? Wow, okay, so I can actually buffer. I can actually record audio onto them. It's pretty crazy. Okay, I didn't know they are tracks. Well, I normally use them as buses because as long as they have this in or input monitoring enabled, they behave pretty much like a bus. There's just the benefit that I can actually record on them. So we could in theory do some weird audio editing after our MIDI work is done. But I think I would rather do this with a plugin like Oops, because I really like applying such effects non-destructively. Alrighty. Zard asks, is there a fast way to check the all R selections? Do you mean, is there a fast way to check what you have what you have done in your mixer? Where going to the mixer view is probably the best way. You can see all the panning pots, all the faders, all the plugin or the processor box, or is there called plugin box? I don't know. Processor stack. Yeah. So let's go to editing. I haven't set the inputs. Okay, so we have removed our outputs from being sent to master, but we haven't added them back to drums. So I'm going to go to drums, right click on the inputs, and do the opposite thing. So go to Ardor tracks, and here we have, okay, DrumGizmo out is the MIDI track. We don't want that. We want our processed sound. So ambient, left, right. I'm just going to go and draw these zigzags because this is going to assign left to left, right to right. You can see the highlighted. On the left, I have highlighted right. On the bottom, I have highlighted right. So this tells you what is sent where. So I have left bottom snare to left drums input and right bottom snare to right drums input. So these zigzags do it for us. I wish there was a way to do it with a single sweep somehow. I don't know of such technology yet. Sweet. Now we have our drums being sent on 16 channels to tracks where we can pre-mix them, or actually mix them, and send them to a submix bus in here where we can apply things like distortion. What about this? Chibi chabi chow tape. Chowy chowy tapey. Oh, don't tell me something wrong. Oh no, it just took a while to load. Now we can. I'm afraid this is going to be a little loud. Yep, so we can process our submix. I'm not going to do that right now. I'm just going to give it a bit more loudness so we can hear it better. Or actually, no, not loudness. I'm going to double click to reset this. Shift click to reset this fader. And I'm going to turn this trim knob to give us more loudness, because more better. Double click. How can I type in a value? Shift. Okay, with control I have more precision. I have precisely 12 decibels. Good. Good. All right, let's edit some drum part. I have a basic drum kit. A very basic beat. Let's fill it up with stuff. We can have an open hi-hat in here. And then we can close it with a pedal. Oh, I forgot to loop this. Let's do it again. Mind you, this is pretty much not mixed. This is all we did is panned things left and right and sent them to master through a submix bus. We haven't done any mixing yet, so, and it already sounds pretty okay. All right, so what can we do? Let's go to the kick, for example, and see. I'm gonna solo it. So this is a microphone inside of the kick drum. What I'm going to do first maybe is apply an EQ. Now apply a gate, and I like this gate by Steve Harris because it is an old LATSPA plugin, not an LV2 one, but it really gets the job done very well. So the point of a gate on a drum track is to eliminate all the sounds we don't want to hear. And there's the attack, which is pretty long. Hold and decay are also long. I want to have this gate open when the kick hits. Then I'm gonna add hold and decay. Now without it, you can hear the snare and the hi-hat in the kick channel. So I'm doing this to prevent that. You can also use a low-pass filter or high-pass filter. And I think doing that, you can also like listen to the key. So this is the channel it's listening to. Now it's the gate, and now it's bypassed. Okay. Alrighty. Let's see what happens with the kick outside. It is pretty quiet. I'm going to apply an EQ to it as well. I'd like to try and extract as much high frequency from this as we can. So that together they're going to give me a nice full sound. Okay, I'm copied this gate, but I think it's... Could also... Yeah, we could high pass the gate's key, which is like the sidechain, so that the long bassy tail that I've also accentuated with the EQ doesn't trigger it as much. Okay, now we can also create a submix for our kick, because why not? I love doing that. I'm going to call it kick with large capital letters, because submix. Ardor tracks. I'm going to take these two. But now I need to send this one to my drums submix. And here I need to disconnect these two. Sweet! Now I have both, and I can do some more crazy things like compression. And that is pretty harsh. Let's try another one. That's pretty different than what we started with, but that's just the kick. We can also, like, and maybe I'm starting to do this a little bit in reverse. Because if you, like, okay, I'm kind of thinking about this like electronic music, and I'm kind of going for twisting this into something that sounds more like an electronic track. Not a natural acoustic sounding kit, just because I like to do it that way. But if you would do a traditional acoustic drum mix, you would start with the overheads. And maybe I should do that as well. So for now, I will just solo overheads. Also, we could add a cymbal somewhere. Can also add some accents. Rothin asks, zrobisz kiedyś live'a po polsku? Which translates to, will you do a live stream in Polish someday? And my answer is probably not, because the majority of my audience is not speaking Polish, and that would like be a live stream for only like, I don't know, 10% people who watch me, which would like, it would be fun, but it would be pretty lame for a lot of people. I mean, I could, but who's gonna do English subtitles live? Yeah, the majority is Dutch, says Rob Vandenberg, who is Dutch. There's a lot of Dutch people in here too, true. But also all different countries are tuning in. Alrighty, so overheads. Overheads are microphones that are above the drum kit. Traditionally, there is 2, left and right. Sometimes even 1 will do. And in here we have even 3, which is a lot. And we might not even need all of them. So we could maybe mute overhead center. Oh yeah, we need it. And yeah, we would like to make a submix for overheads as well. So I'm gonna call this overheads because I'm so feeling this way. All right, overheads go to... Wait, why do I have 3? That's kind of weird. Okay, so I'll remove the... somehow I created a track with 3 inputs or 3 channels. I'm gonna right-click on my inputs, and I'm going to right-click on the 3rd input and remove it. This will turn this track into a stereo track or bus. There. Done. Now I'm gonna send this to drums, and because there's just 3 of these, I'm just going to click here and select overheads, because that's quite much faster than fiddling with the routing grid if we have only these 3 to go. I think what I would want to do is high pass this so we don't have bass, because I want to add bass, like, you know, all the low frequency elements. Maybe even dim the highs a bit. Make this kind of like a mid-filly thingy and compress it. I want to treat this overhead bus kind of like a room mic, even though it's not one. This is not how you would traditionally mix drums. I'm just having fun. So yeah, please don't try to do this if a country band comes to you and asks for a mix of their latest single. They may not be happy with you. Oh yeah, let's do some chow tape. Tapé. Because saturation. Also, I'd like to LSP parametric equalizer stereo. Actually, I do want... You know what? We can use Calf EQ. It's a rare occasion, but I will do it. Calf EQ has this nice feature that you can change every band to be just on the side or the mid. And this is also a feature that there was in... Something similar is in EQ10Q. However, EQ10Q isn't maintained, and the UI isn't working in newer versions of Ardor, so I'm not using EQ10Q anymore, unfortunately, because it needs a new UI. What this does is it makes everything below 800 Hz mono right in the center, because I'm high-passing the side channel, which is containing information about the differences between left and right. So I'm removing the differences between left and right for everything about below 840 Hz, which makes it mono. However, maybe I should do the exact opposite. Also, I should do this in mid. Okay, no. I'm kind of having silly fun right now. The crash is a tad loud. Alrighty, well, we can do something about it. I mean, these are overheads. We could, of course, use something like just low shelf, or we could use something like a de-esser. And I think Tap de-esser is doing a pretty good job. It's also an old LV LATSPA plugin, which is here labeled LV1, which is like a... doing a little bit. We could put this before tape saturation so our ties are not as saturated. What we can also do is apply something called To Vinyl, which is a plugin by Chris from AirWindows. And what this plugin has is a few very specific things that you would like to do if you are mastering for a vinyl record. Not that I would like to do it. One of the reasons is that vinyl records are apparently very toxic and very hard to recycle. So I think the faster the vinyl industry dies, the better. For the environment and for the people. But what we have here is mid-high pass. So this is where do you high pass your mid frequencies. So if I disable these two and put two vinyl on top, I can sidechain the high pass the sidechain. That makes my... You can hear that the kick and snare are snapped to the center when I apply up this, which is awesome. And also we can sidechain all the rest, so we just don't have highs, lows anywhere. But we can also just high pass the mid channel and we have only stereo information, which works as opposite. So this is these two faders really give you a pretty funny control over the stereo width of the low frequencies band. And that's very important because if you have loud bass that is not center on a vinyl record, the needle is going to jump out of the groove and just the record is going to be unplayable. So you need to do this pretty much for all vinyl records. Also, you need to limit high frequencies, which is what this thing does. So I think it works better if we are applying this after compressor. Yeah, you can hear that it's like a side chain. No, not like a multiband compressor, but kind of like a dynamic EQ where it high shelves the very high frequencies. It's pretty effective. I think this is groove wear, so we can also simulate some wear. So it's not strictly the plugin that does things that sound like you would do it for mastering vinyl, but sometimes what we would get if you were ripping stuff from vinyl, because someone would have to do this. I mean this and this, but you can also apply this, which is not what you apply before mastering to vinyl, but what happens if you put it on vinyl and use it a bit. Either way, it's fun. Let's see what happens if we apply all of these again. And maybe move our maybe move them after two vinyl. Alright, so this is a little bit of an overhead action. We can use this and then add our kick. So maybe what I will do, which is probably what I should have done before, is instead of soloing things, I should move all the faders down. You can actually open the mix view, because that's going to be a bit more fitting. And you just move all the faders down. And you build your mix slowly. Okay, what else is playing? Ambient, okay. Alright, I want to high pass ambient as well. And I can use this Ace high low pass filter, which is a stock Ardor plugin. I'm gonna disable low pass. I just want high pass at and it's control and drag to copy it. Actually, I don't have to control. You can just click and drag and it will copy it. Now if we solo this, this is ambient. So these are not overheads. These microphones were probably placed somewhere further back the room. And this could also work very well if we compressed it really hard. But I'm going to just use it as a kind of a natural reverb track source. Eki says, your speech is too silent against the track. Alrighty, so it's time to actually lower the volume of Ardor output by 6 decibels. Will that do? Is it better now? Can you hear the music all right? Can you hear me all right? Okay, so... Alrighty, thanks for letting me know. That's very much needed help when you stream, is that you can't know if there's something wrong because you're not listening to what you're doing. Okay, so we have our bass here, and here's the kick. Oh, I wanted to loop this. Did it loop? It didn't loop. I want to gate my kick again. Now I need snare. I'm gonna disable the group so I can... Let's just use some 2-tape 5 on it. See what happens. So this is top. Top is going to have much more high frequencies, and bottom is going to have much... No, it's reverse. Top doesn't have the snares, so it's going to be very dull. And bottom is going to have all the high frequencies, because it has the actual metal snares in there. So I maybe I want to low pass this. I am going to actually solo these two. I'm gonna figure out the crossover. And this is 1000 and 12,000 hertz. Okay, I'm gonna off. Let's see. So what I wanted to do is just use the low frequencies from the top snare and just the high frequencies from the bottom snare, so they just complement each other. What also should be done, should have done this, is flip the polarity of one of them. Because when you record a snare, let me do this like that. When you record a snare, imagine this is your snare, and you have the top and the bottom. This is of course very thin, the snare will be thicker, but you put a microphone here and you put another microphone here. When you hit the snare, this deforms. So the top microphone is feeling suction as this moves down. But the bottom microphone feels blowing. So the polarity is inverted between the two. So for them to work together, you need to invert polarity of one of them, so it's like both are from the top. Otherwise, the low frequencies are going to cancel each other out weirdly. So I am canceling the low frequencies anyway, so that doesn't really make any difference. We also need a gate. I'm gonna just steal the gate we had on the kick. And works. Let's apply it to this one as well. Okay, it's not enough. It's too harsh. All right. Rock Sudeb says, "Oh my god, physics!" Ugu says, "Get it back in the corner, unfa." Oh, thanks, I forgot. I hope you didn't miss anything. Do I need to repeat anything? Welcome, Mohan Kumar. Outer Mind says, "Not the same kick! Not the same kick!" I should record a sample for you, so you can use it before I drop. Oh, not the same kick. All right. Now what I'd like to do is actually provide some mixing, and I will create a submix for the snare. So I'm gonna Control-Shift-N. Audio buses. Oh, I said 3 channels in here. Okay. I'm gonna call this snare before post selection. Where is it? It's here. All right. Not the worst place to be. Wait, how do I rearrange that? Okay, it seems like I need to use here. All right. I'm not used to working in the mixer view, though it is very useful for some things. Okay, so instead of outputting to drum submix, I output to snare submix. And the snare submix goes to drums submix. This way we have all the drums in here. All the snares. Or do we? Yeah. It just wasn't soloed along with the rest. Because, yeah, if you solo something, then its outputs are also soloed indirectly. But it doesn't update if you just change the routing and didn't change the solo. That's a minor omission. No worries. Okay. What we can do now? We can apply some distortion. We could use temper. Haven't used temper in a while. It's a real harsh distortion. I think I should go to edit because holy snap, that is loud. Yep. Loudest. Heck. Yeah, okay. After this, I would add a de-esser. Or we could do something else, and that is de-emphasize high frequencies before we apply distortion. So use this high shelf filter and apply negative 18 decibels. Aha, now copy this with Control. I drag. Okay, no, that didn't work. With Shift, I drag and. Okay, you know what? I just copy and then paste. And now I change this to plus 18, so we recover all the high frequencies, but they haven't been distorted. Ta-da! Compare this to this. Doesn't really sound that different, so maybe I'm doing too much drive. All right, this doesn't sound so different. Maybe I'll shift it down. 4505. 4505. Alrighty. I don't really hear the difference, but whatever. Let's do it. Or no, let's do it more. Ooh. Smash it. Okay. Now we gate it. Again. Yum. Okay, it's gated. And I will de-ess it because it's painful. There's also a de-esser from AirWindows called dBass, because it's the best de-esser. And it's kind of weird, but sometimes it does a great job. We can also switch it to listening to what it actually removes. And we need to turn up intense. And it has a filter. And I like it. It does remove the sharp harshness, which is sweet as all frick. Let us now unsolo snares and hear it all. I think our kick is a little bit thick. We need to add in some high frequencies because they are really not present too much. Parametric equalizer stereo. Could also apply some really fast. Could do some limiting. What is that? Or no, I don't think we need a limiter for this. I think we need to bring up our hi-hat. Now, there's two schools of mixing the hi-hat or panning the hi-hat. One is you mix it like you are standing in front of the stage, or you are standing in front of the drum kit, which means the hi-hat is on the right. The other is you mix it like you are playing the drums, and then the hi-hat is on the left. Or you just don't care and you pan it however you feel like. And I think that's what I'm gonna do. Of course we need a gate on this. And we can safely remove low frequencies from the gating. Because, well, we don't need them anyway. Okay. I can also use a EQ to high pass and see if there's any painful resonances. Yeah, that's not something I'd like. I think some of the clipping on our kick or distortion is not very pleasant. I need to fix this. Yeah, I think I should just compress it to avoid having... Also, we may create some nice transients this way. Wait. Oh, we're gating extra. Ah, right, I see. All right, I think what we also like to do is create a reverb bus. So I will create an audio bus stereo, call this reverb send, maybe. What's up? Yep, and maybe I should call this capital letters reverb because, okay, it's not a submix, but it is a bus. And how you use aux sends, yeah, this is an aux bus, that's what it is. We create a reverb plugin, or add a reverb plugin. What should I use? Do you have any reverb plugins that you'd like me to use? Like, I don't know, there's these interesting AirWindows reverbs, like Matrix Verb or Verbity, or what is Galactic? Okay, maybe I don't have Galactic. I think I do have Verbity. No, I gotta have Galactic. It's like, I think I don't. I haven't updated in a while because the AUR package is kind of broken, doesn't compile. Right, so what we do now is we right-click, new aux send, click on reverb, and now we have this little thing here. We can move it down so the send is post-fader, which is quite important for reverbs. And then we select how much reverb we send, or how much of the signal we copy back to reverb. Now, this is an effect send, so it has to be all wet. All right. What I'd like to do is also high pass everything that goes into our reverb bus, because you don't want to have low frequencies on your reverb. So maybe that's a bit too steep. Like this. You can also low pass it a little bit. It has an interesting crunchy character. So the problem is that there's very mono. I'd like to have some stereo width, so I will apply maybe triple spread is another AirWindows plugin, which I believe is a chorus. Oh, wait. All right, I think I want to low pass it a little bit. And now I'll send my snare to the same reverb bus as well. Same with the hi-hat. Galactic reverb, do it! Jeff Bailey says. I could download it and install it, but do you really want me to do this right now? Download and install our AirWindows plugins? Is that the best use of our time in here? If you want, I can do it. Rock Sudeb asks, what kind of plugin is it? What plugin do you mean? All right, looks like you guys are adamant about me downloading AirWindows plugins. Okay, so you will see how to get the AirWindows plugins on Linux. airwindows.com. I hope I typed it correctly. Okay, so this is the AirWindows website. What you do is you find the downloads. Oh yeah, download all zip of AUVST. Yeah. And the plugins, all plugins that are included here are open source. So this is not... I'm gonna save it to this directory I've already used once. And I'm gonna delete all of that crap. Rename this. Now, to install these, we need to extract them. New updates, Linux VST. And now we just need to copy this to a VST directory in our system. And there's a bunch of them. I think my directory is user lib VST. So what I will do is I'm going to do rsync, which is an AV to verify what's going on. rsync will copy the files and update them if they need updating. AirWindows, and I'm gonna go sudo because that directory of user lib is a system directory. Now, also I need to say what do I want to copy. So I want to copy everything in here to this one. And now I just need to provide my password. And it's going to copy all the plugins there. And it did. Sweet. Now, what we have to do is go to Edit, Preferences, VST, no, just Plugins, and Scan for Plugins. And now it's going to find the new plugins. So you can see it's now processing the AirWindows plugins, which I think confirms that they are new, because I think it would not take so much time on each of them if they were all identical, but maybe, I don't know. Paul Davis. Wow, it's awesome to have you here. Paul Davis is the author of Ardor. Wow, that's so cool. Directional mic. Which one? This or in DrumGizmo? Rescanning all VSTs in Ardor will take a while. It sure will. Yeah. Clear advantages of LV2. That's true. LV2 plugins don't need scanning like that because, well, they just work. They have all the plugin descriptions in a separate file, and it can be loaded like, you know, in a millisecond instead of run a plugin DLL or SO, which is shared object. Anyway, like load the plugin library and ask it what the hell is it. Okay, we're done. So we're gonna maybe... I will bypass all these plugins and search for galactic. Gal. There it is. We succeeded. We've got galactic. I have used it recently, but maybe it was on a different machine. Yeah. I think this is going to give us nice stereo spread. And it seems that replace is like blending between what's accumulated in the reverb feedback loop versus the new signal. So if we just go and set replace to 0, we have infinite sustain, which is, I think, pretty useful for special effects. But I don't want it that way. Also, I will maybe not low pass, but I will high pass. Right. You know what? It doesn't hurt to use 2 instances and use them with different parameters. So the first instance is this. The second, let's make it less bright and smaller and more detune. Wow. And this pretty much solves the biggest problem I have, which is that we have these granular spikes of transients. And if we have another instance with different settings, they completely blur out and we have a nice, smooth reverb tail. There's quite a lot of delay though. And I might like to try and compress this. And we could also sidechain compress it with know what? I think I need to lower my bigness. All right. I think it would be a good idea to introduce a limiter into the mix, and I think the X42 digital peak limiter is really an excellent choice because it just works, and yeah, and it sounds very good. It's very clean, and you can change it from dBFS to dBTP, which means true peak, and then it's going to, I believe, do some. I guess it's gonna do some oversampling inside to make sure that the peaks don't go above. And now you can see we are peaking above 12 decibels. So I'm doing really loud. My voice is too low. Oh, again. Alrighty. What I will do is lower the volume of the track by another 3 decibels. Is that better? Okay, I think I clearly need to control the... clearly need to control the transients in my kick and snare because they are blowing out the limiter a lot. Actually, just the kick. All right. And there's multiple ways to control your transients. One of them is to clip it. And I recently read about this Add Clip 7 plugin by AirWindows, and it's a clipper, so maybe we can use that. Let's solo our kick. Ooh. Oh, nice. Now it shows us what's clipping. Normal attenuation. Okay, so it seems like attenuation is kind of like a limiter. Our levels... Yeah, our levels are more in control. And I think it's also going to help our reverb. Now, this whole drum mix is sounding very weird, honestly. But why not? We're having some fun. We can also try and apply this sidechain compression. So let's enable sidechain. I'm going to open up the configuration, and here we can feed, for example, the kick. And this will mean that the reverb only plays when the kick is silent. Without this, we could just copy and paste that and just change our assignment to snare. So we have the same effect on snare. And then we have 2 sidechain compressors. Which gives us a bit more control than having just the same one compressor work on a mix of our 2 control signals. It is quite weird. We could try and have some fun with maybe just this little part. Also going to disable auto return. that's not humanly possible. That is interesting. Alrighty. Okay, one problem is that overheads provide us with all the symbols. So without this thingy, we don't have symbols pretty much. So I'm gonna maybe high pass. Kick is very weird and like farty. I think I'm boosting the lows too much. And they are too low. And the problem is that creates a long resonance, which kind of removes the punch. I think that's a bit better. Oh, we have a ride microphone. Let's pan it on the opposite side of the hi-hat. Okay, these overheads provide us with a bit too much highs. Also, we need our ride in this reverb. Okay, so we have the time has come to play the submissions. However, we have a little bit less submissions this time, so we could play around with it a little few minutes more. I'm gonna save this. Let me tell you how much music we have to play. We have 25 minutes of music, so we still have 2 more minutes. And that's gonna be enough to make a freaking bass line. Woo! I'm gonna use Surge. I'm gonna call it bass. Oh no, my convention of using capital letters only for buses is broken now. Cool. Now, alright. No much time. Let's go for B for bass. That's the note. B for bass. And we copy this. No. Make this shorter. Copy this twice. I'm just making this up as I go. Come on, come on. We have 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Low pass. Vintage ladder. Make it monophonic. Polyphonic. Give me amplitude. No, no, no. Okay, 1 more minute to mix this. 1 more minute! Give me a reverb. Okay, let's go. 3, 2, 1, go! Thank you very much. That's our sweet little drum part and a super fun, super fast bass line. Super quickly made. Now, let's move on to... Oh snap, I forgot to do things like make all the important windows move with Machete. McClunky. Yeah. All right. Never made a bass line this fast. Let's go. I'm gonna turn this up. Know if the music is too quiet or too loud. We're listening to another track by Adventuner. The title is to be announced. It's a work in progress, but it's a synthwave, and I think it's awesome. It was made with LMMS, and he also says, this time something different after a long hardstyle spree. Maybe short and very far from finished, but hey, some outer talking synthwave. What I use. Drums, all of them are Lin drum samples. All melodics except Orchestral Kit, which is a sample, were made with Surge inside a Carla rack. Sounds really very nostalgic. So much cool melodic sounds we get, like these tiny plucks, lead plucks. I wonder if the drums, the toms, have been synthesized as well. I mean, at some point they were, but Outer Mind synthesized it, or Adventuner. It's his moniker. Wow, that's beautiful. And X asks, where is the singer? Oh yeah, this track sounds like it could use some vocals. So that was another track by Edwin Tuner, title to be announced yet. And now a track by Steve Pixis, titled Not Syncing, and it's a work in progress. And it's freaking awesome as well. That pulse width modulated riser. And this track was made with LMMS and Dissonant Sub FX. He also says, they also say, I went to Jupiter and found this. So this is literally from outer space. I wonder what is not syncing though. This is like trans festival worthy. I love this. This is awesome. So simple, but so effective, so well done, so well balanced. Like the bass, the kick, the melodic sounds, the noises. We have a little breakdown here. Oh, that was lovely. That little kick filled right there. It gives some nice wet resonances going on, kind of psychedelic sounding. Also, anybody making some psytrance? Because I'd love to hear your tracks. This is really nice work. Well done, Steve Pixis. Awesome. So that was Not Syncing, and now another track. And this time it's by SG75, and it's called Randomize the Seed Out of It.
On test 1. O-N-E 1. Warmed it up. Offset shift 1.
And he writes, made with Ardor and S1 and eSpeaker, which is a speech synthesizer.
Persistence.
Hey, welcome Combustible Lemonade.
Ardour pop-off is a software synthesizer plugin in early stages of development. A core of Ardour is an original oscillator which uses a pseudo 3D version of Berlin noise to produce distinctively digital sound. Digital sound.
Oh, I like
sound.
This.
Sound.
This lead and the bass.
Sound. Sound. Berlin noise. Berlin noise.
And he writes, made with Ardor and S1 and eSpeaker and many AirWindows plugins, notably chorus ensemble for the hi-hats.
As opposed to the more conventional texture mapping or growth model algorithms.
MDA Recycle pitch shifts the heavily confilled acoustic announcer voice.
It's the random button. Randomize the seed out of it. Random Z. Random Z. Z.
And he says this was inspired by my announcer voice video. Made for Liberal Music Challenge 10. It's a showcase for the And This One synth, which was brought up by a co-producer Lamb from my community.
Real-time interactive character animation and computer user interfaces. On test 1. Berlin noise.
I think I've seen the synthesizer.
Randomizer shit. Out of it. Out of it. The shit. Out of it. What is a concept shit? On there.
Awesome. That was Randomize the Seed Out of It by SG75. And now a track by Quantizer titled Swift. It was made with LMMS, Zenith SubFX, Vital, and Audacity. He also writes, I am afraid to use a different kick now. Not sure what that means, but I like it. Very strange. I really like the broken beats. It feels a little bit atonal. And kind of a little bit like broken. Like the snare here. Says, what synth is this? I don't know. It could be Zenith SubFX or it could be Vital. These are the two he listed. I really like the gated lead in the background. Oh, that's some really cool things going on and very inspiring. Whew, so that was Swift by Quantizer. And the next track we have is called Syncinadineo, Taking Risks Together. I'm not sure if this is the title or this is the name of the artist and the title. Something messed up with the metadata, maybe. And the artist is Fastakey. Let me check, double check. Yeah, so Fastakey, and the track is titled Synkiden. Oh, sorry, I can't pronounce this. Taking Risks Together. Let's hear it. The software used to make it was Ardour, DrumGizmo, Stockus, GuitarX, Vitalium. Nice. And they also write, this might be a bit of a different genre for livestream EDM, but trying to get back into the swing of things after a very, very long break. I had a guitar hanging on my wall gathering dust for over 20 years now. A shame. The pandemic made me take it down and use it again, but your videos made me finally record something again. Supremely helpful resources of information, instruction, and inspiration. Thanks for what you do, unfa. Thank you! It's nice to hear some DrumGizmo in action, especially interestingly since I decided to go for it in this live stream. It's so mono it doesn't even show up. Goniometers looks really interesting. Awesome. Oh my goodness. Love it. Oh, I really like this slow guitar. Breaks at the drums, yeah! Oh, that was awesome. Thank you so much, Fast A Key. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. So that was Sinkindineo, Taking Risks Together. And now a track titled Tournament by Ovi. The track was made with Ardor, Odin 2, and Geonkick. Nice. They also write, I made this for our school computer games tournaments Twitch stream. Awesome. How did it work out? Dave A. Yeah, the last track used DrumGizmo. The melody is happening in the background because the bass is very loud. With the arps, it almost feel like polyphonic music. I think it kind of fits. It would kind of fit like a training montage in a film. I think the mix is generally very low heavy. You can see it on this curve that the highs are very low down here and the bass is very here. I think it would be a bit better if you had something more to fill up the high frequencies. The plugs are okay, they have enough highs. But I think there could be something like a pad maybe, or maybe a hi-hat or something else to fill up the high frequencies a little bit more, to give this whole track a bit more presence. Not too much, but... Yep, there are hi-hats, but are very quiet and not very bright. I can imagine something like... kind of like that. So that was Tournament by Ovi, and now we know why it's titled Tournament, because he made it for a tournament. Thank you. So next track is titled Window into the Air by My Lo-Fi, and this track has won the Libre Music Challenge number 10. Let's hear it. I haven't heard a piano, especially haven't heard a piano used well in quite some time. Everything this guy does is just fantastically composed and instrumented. This track was made with Z-Rhythm and AirWindows plugin suite. It's like I need to check out Z-Rhythm again. And I believe the submission was sent by Sahativa, who is managing the Libre Music Challenge. This guitar. Is that a sustainer? If Lo-Fi publishes an album, I'm gonna buy it. Holy snap. This is just such amazing musicianship. Like Faith No More meets smooth jazz, kind of Mr. Bungle for a while, just without the vocals. That's what I have in mind right now listening to this. So the submission was sent by Sahativa, who is managing the Libre Music Challenge right now. I want to read you comment he said. And the comment says, this is a 10th Libre Music Challenge winner track. It was made by My Lo-Fi using Z-Rhythm. The theme this month was to use only AirWindows plugins. And My Lo-Fi won with this epic track. Fantastic. So Rob Vandenberg says that the difference between the winning and the losing, the top and the bottom submissions on the scoreboard was 1 point. How many points? Like a little over 1 point. So like super, super tight. And I think I will actually go in and maybe make a live stream a short 1.05 points. And like everyone who votes gives every track a score from 1 to 5, I believe. Yeah, I think I want to do a little live stream tomorrow just to play all the tracks and just talk about the Library Music Challenge. I think it's a really awesome initiative. Floydish, yeah, that sounds like Pink Floyd a lot. Ugu asks, why fade out? Fade outs are applied by me if the tracks are longer than 3 minutes. So don't blame artists on the fade outs. I'm doing fade outs to avoid sudden cuts because I allocate 3 minutes per track. Alrighty, so that was Window into the Air by My Lo-Fi, and now a track by Ksawery Treningowski titled The Longest Day. Alright, so this track was made with Ardor. And the author emailed me and said he wanted to record some extra stuff, but he had technical problems with Ardor. And at some point when he wanted to clean up the session folder, it deleted all the regions. All of them. So yeah. We don't have vocals in here, but that was The Longest Day by Ksawery Treningowski. And now, a track titled Dubs Part 2 by Sahativa. And it was made with Z-Rhythm 1.0 alpha. They also write, second dub from a project I started back with Z-Rhythm. I hope to make an entire dub album using Z-Rhythm as the only DAW. This is so thick and so smooth. That kick, that bass, that phaser on the toms. Oh, lovely stereo delay. I wonder what synthesizers were used in this. Faster Clucker says, I'd buy all these albums from everyone here. Yep. Oh, Sahativa says that all the synth parts here are Odin 2, which is a really nice and quite simple virtual analog synthesizer modeled after Thor from Reason. If the bass is just a saturated sine wave or what? It's so thick. Rob Vandenberg has posted a link to archive.org where you can listen to all the submissions to Liberty Music Challenge 10. I'm gonna pin that message. Yep, Odin 2. And that's all. That's all that we have for today. Thank you all for coming. Thanks to all who submitted their music for my critique and feedback live, and for our all enjoyment. There's been really cool submissions. There could have been a few more. I had 5 more minutes planned to do this. So if you are holding back some awesome tracks you're working on using free and open source software right now, don't hold back. Find the link to the submission form in this live stream's description, or on my website unfa.xyz, and submit it. And I will play it if it's good. And if it sucks, I'm usually gonna send an email to you saying, sorry, but it sucks. But maybe you can do this and that to fix it. Unless I don't have time, and then I just won't play it and be sorry about that. Yeah. So yeah, thanks everyone for coming. Thanks to all the people who submitted music. That's really, like, I think it's a highlight of this live stream, because we can all hear what the community is making, what the open source software is capable of, what music you can produce using nothing but Libre software and Linux. And that is very inspiring, and I want these videos, these live streams, to be inspiring. Yep. Also, huge thanks to everyone who supports me on LiberaPay and Patreon, because that helps me keep doing this stuff. And your support is greatly appreciated, especially since now I'm going to be looking for a new job. Yeah, that really gives me some peace of mind, and hopefully I'll be able to also spend more time making videos and live streams in the future. Who knows? Maybe I'm gonna go half-time or part-time on this. I don't know yet. It's all in flux. So yep, and if you, dear viewer, enjoyed this and think what I do is worth supporting, then you can go to patreon.com/unfa or liberapay.com/unfa and drop me $1 or $2 yourself. It's gonna be greatly appreciated. And if you need some help with making music on Linux or with open source software, then you can visit my community chat at chat.unfa.xyz and meet all the wonderful people who will help you out if I'm away. So that's all. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video. Go and make some music now. Bye.